Well, Browns back at their practice facility today getting ready to play the Falcons. One player not here, of course, is Myles Garrett. After that car crash on Monday, he is not here today. He's expected back in the facility on Thursday. But Mary Kay, of course, the question on everyone's minds now that we know Myles is okay is, will he play on Sunday?
You know, that is the big question, and who knows? I'm with John Johnson 3. He thinks Myles should sit this one out. I feel that way too. I just feel like he's been through so much physical and emotional trauma after flipping that car multiple times. We saw what he looked like in the body cam video. He was dazed. We know he's got a shoulder injury, a biceps injury. He's got a cut hand. I think it's a great idea to sit out the Falcons game.
And Ashley, I mean, look, it's a big ask after a crash like that to get on an airplane, travel to Atlanta. It just feels like it's going to be difficult. But then again, we've all seen Myles Garrett. We all know what he looks like. He seems superhuman.
He does seem superhuman, but at the end of the day, I think it's important to remember he is still human. I think anyone who's been in any kind of accident, even if it's just a fender bender, you probably know if you've been in that situation that it can take a while to truly know how sore you're going to feel. So until we hear from Myles, we won't know the full extent of that, obviously, but given the extent of the accident he was in, it wouldn't be surprising to me, I don't think, if he is going to miss this game. I would be more surprised if he played at this point.
Now, another player we're keeping an eye on is Jadeveon Clowney. He has been in the locker room the last two times we've been in there, not wearing that walking boot that he was after the game against the Jets. He did not play against the Steelers, but of course with Myles Garrett's status up in the air, Jadeveon Clowney, if the Browns, Mary Kay, can figure out a way to get him on the field, even just a little bit, it would help this pass rush.
Yeah, it really would. And as we watched him walk through the locker room today, he was just, as you mentioned, there was no boot. He was just in his tennis shoes, and he looked like he was moving fine. Actually, there wasn't any kind of a noticeable little limp or anything like that. So he's probably getting closer. Not sure if he's ready. He sat out today along with about 7 other injured guys.
And of course, Ashley, if Clowney can't go, if Myles can't go, the Browns will be counting heavily on Alex Wright. And probably a guy that you talked to today, Isaac Rochell, could maybe get that call to start opposite Wright.
Yeah, Alex Wright, and then Isaiah Thomas would be the other one. But Isaac Rochell is particularly interesting to me at this point. He's a guy who the last month and a half has kind of moved around a lot. He went from making the 53-man initially to being waived, to being brought back on the practice squad, to being elevated against Carolina, and finally he got signed to the 53-man roster ahead of that Steelers game. He's in his 6th year in the league, so he brings a bit more experience, obviously, than Alex Wright and Isaiah Thomas bring to this defense. And he told me he thinks his biggest strength is his versatility, that he can play anywhere from a 4-tech to a 9. So it will be interesting to see how he's used on Sunday.
Now, Amari Cooper was not at practice today, just a rest day. But Mary Kay, there was another name that popped up on that injury report that we've got to keep an eye on, and that was Denzel Ward.
Yeah, that was odd. I was surprised to see that because you certainly don't want to be without your lockdown corner. He's got a couple of things that are ailing him from that Steelers game. He sat out today, and I'm sure they're hoping as the week goes along, they'll get him back.
And Ashley, like, this just isn't how you want to start your week, with a long injury report off of 10 days off, but that's where the Browns are. They'll just have to deal with it.
Yeah, and I think, too, what's interesting is we know Kevin Stefanski at this point. He never rules guys out early unless it's something really obvious. So right now he said, when he was asked about Myles Garrett, that he's not ready to rule Myles out for Sunday, but he's not ready to rule anybody out for Sunday, really. So overall, I just think we won't know the status of these guys until we are closer to the game itself.
All right, Browns and Falcons Sunday at 1 o'clock in Atlanta. We will cover everything leading up to the game at cleveland.com/Browns.